What's up, everybody? Daymond John here, aka the People Shark, and I'm an animal lover. I'm actually on the Petco board for saving animals' lives, and I gotta tell you something. After COVID, we are bringing our animals closer and closer to us and adopting more animals these days. And that's what this startup, Yumwoof, is trying to do by saving these animals and making sure that our animals have a healthy life. And it's found a way to bring fresh food to your pet's bowl without all the hassle and the expenses that come with it. A lot of times people are going out to the market and they're getting venison or they're getting beef and chicken and doing all this stuff at home, cooking it like if they're cooking for their family. I mean, it is their family, but now that Yumwoof is around, Yumwoof has tried to figure out a way for you to do that more easily and save you the most important thing in your life, time. And I am absolutely intrigued. So let's get into it with Jaron Lukas, Yumwoof CEO. Jaron, thank you so much for being here and willing to spend your time on the hot seat with me and everybody else. How you doing?
Doing great, Daymond. Great to be here with a fellow pet lover.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So let's get right into it. While we're talking about pets, tell me about Yumwoof, the origin of the story, and how you started and why.
Definitely. Well, everything we do at Yumwoof really comes back to our mission of extending the health span of all dogs. And we're doing that through anti-inflammatory dog food and clean, unique products that are differentiated in the market. It all started with two of my best friends and I who had all come from a tech background. Ultimately, I didn't feel like I was really doing what I wanted to be achieving for the world in tech. And I wanted to do something very tangible in people's everyday lives. And through a year of meditation and lots of brainstorming between us, we all came to the conclusion that we want to make better pet food for the world. And you know, it's easy to see today. The pet industry, gigantic, but filled with a lot of really crappy products in it. And we thought we could do something better.
Well, talking about being better, what makes your product unique from what's on the market? Because there is, like you said, there is a lot of product out there.
Yeah, there is. And, you know, we came to market with Perfect Kibble in November 2020. It's a soft and chewy dog food, which was kind of the origin of it. You know, we wanted to create something that looked really fresh, but didn't need refrigeration. But that was really just the beginning, because when we started diving into the actual formulation, one of my co-founders is a former New York City chef. So that brought a really cool aspect to the industry as he collaborated with a veterinary nutritionist to create our dog food. And so what we ended up with is this anti-inflammatory dog food that's the highest in MCT oil of any dog food out there, some of the highest in antioxidants and omega-3s, all really important things for calming inflammation. And inflammation can find itself in the form of skin allergies. If your dog scratches a lot, it can find itself in joint issues, and also all these digestive issues that dogs have. All of these different things are ultimately different forms of inflammation. And so we went back into all the NIH research that's been done over the last 10 to 15 years to create what I like to say is the modern dog food.
Well, I think inflammation is horrible for humans as well, right? It creates so many different issues with us. But, you know, when you putting that in there, I mean, is there something else special? I know you say you have a proprietary cooking process. Can you talk me and walk me through that?
Yeah, well, and that's one of the really important things, because when we talk about gut health and also shelf stability, you know, one of the key words that's going to come up here is preservatives. And so our food doesn't use any preservatives, yet it still has a 1-year shelf life again. So we've taken fresh food, fresh ingredients, and given it a 1-year shelf life without any artificial preservatives. And the way that we've done that is by getting really creative by how we use natural humectants. So humectants are types of ingredients that bind with water molecules. Once water molecules are bound with, it doesn't leave any space for yeast, mold, bacteria to then bind with it. So it captures those water molecules, makes them shelf stable. And again, we've done that without any artificial preservatives. And the reason why I care a lot about that is because most shelf stable foods, including like if you look at a lot of wet dog food, if you look at like almost all dog treats, you'll find things like potassium sorbate in them. And potassium sorbate, it's great that whatever that's being used in is shelf stable, but when your dog consumes that, it actually kills the gut bacteria in their microbiome. So we wanted to create something that specifically avoids that in order to create, ultimately something that we would want to feed our dogs.
So I looked through a lot of your stuff online, and I know that, to some people, they may go, okay, he has a chef, a great chef, and what kind of food is it? And it's shelf stable. And a lot of people may not know I'm on the Petco Love Board, and our job is to issue money and resources so that we reduce euthanization in pets. And the challenge of people don't know is a pet can't say that they're bloated or they feel bad, and they give us what we give. They eat what we give them. As I looked at your stuff, there's a few carbs in it and various other things. Are there something? Well, tell me about the recipes themselves and explain why that's advantageous to the pet at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a really important aspect of our food that I forgot to mention. I like to joke with friends that sometimes I feel like we over-engineered our food. Like I was kind of obsessive about it in many ways. And one of those ways is that all of our recipes are low carb as well. In fact, Perfect Kibble is 16% net carbs, which is pretty incredible. And the reason why that's important to me is because when you look at a lot of the growing health issues in dogs, two of them are obesity and diabetes. In fact, 60% of dogs are obese. Obesity has doubled over the last 20 years in dogs. And when you really start to understand how glucose, so carbohydrates are just chains of sugar molecules. And so though all carbohydrates get broken down into our body or our dog's body, dogs, even though they're not strict carnivores like cats, they, do come from a carnivorous background. So, when we feed our dogs too many carbohydrates, it causes these insulin spikes. And ultimately, that's what leads to different hormones being released that cause obesity and diabetes. So of the many things we wanted to do, like I said, our company mission is to extend the health span of all dogs. And I take that very seriously. And a quick side note, I noticed one of our competitors recently copied our company mission, which is always kind of funny to see. But when you look at Perfect Kibble in particular, the high antioxidants are super important because when our dogs are living in modern society today, they're exposed to all sorts of free radicals in the form of pollution, in the form of, things that they might eat off the ground. And so in order to combat those free radicals, we need antioxidants. The same goes for humans, for the people who are listening, like eat antioxidants. But, we really wanted to create a dog food that was super high in antioxidants, MCTs as well.
What is MCTs? When you say MCTs, I'm sorry, and maybe other people do know, but I'm not sure. What's an MCT?
Yeah, so an MCT is a medium chain triglyceride, and it's a form of healthy fat that is, for instance, found in coconut oil. It's one of the great parts about coconut oil, and MCTs in particular are implicated in the eradication of free radicals in the body.
So you're talking about stuff like also fish oils and stuff like that, just healthy oils.
Healthy oils, but this one serves a slightly different purpose. So it's a couple of things here. One, it's been proven through NIH studies to actually eradicate free radicals in the body, again, which is associated with a longer health span and lifespan. But MCT can also provide an alternative energy pathway in the body. So it's directly when you or your dog eat MCT oil, it's instantly converted in the liver into ketones, which, many of us have heard of the keto diet. This is a way to produce ketones without actually being in ketosis. So that provides all dogs an alternative pathway of energy. So you're going to see with our food a lot more energy. Like if you have a crazy dog, they're going to get even crazier. But if you have a dog who's like maybe a little lethargic or they're showing some of these signs of depression, this is a way to provide an alternative energy pathway that getting past like a lot of these other ways that our food actually like calms the gut and inflammation, we're actually providing that extra energy in a different way. This can also be really helpful for dogs who suffer from seizures and epilepsy. And we have a lot of customers who have dogs like that and have told us over and over again how their dog, like, we even have customers who have told us that their dog no longer has seizures, and they used to have them 3 times a day. So that can be very much attributed to the coconut oil and more specifically the MCTs in it.
First of all, I love the fact that somebody else is copying some of your stuff. That's the best form of, of imitation or best flattery is imitation. So that's a key sign. But what you basically have said is that the formulations are great. The fact that you do not have preservatives in there, which is great, reduces inflammation. And carbs, when people think about it, carbs are sugar and disease lives off of sugar. We all know that, but dogs cannot protect themselves. It's up to us as the owners to protect them. And if you really think about it, me as an owner of a dog, I like chicken and rice. I think that's a great meal. My dog must love chicken and rice. No, my dog comes from a line of animals that would hunt venison, would hunt, chicken, but they're not asking, hey, honey, can I have a bowl of spaghetti tonight and give me more pasta? So I understand what you're saying, and I want to get this across because I just am so passionate about animals that I think that this is the product is king, and the easiest thing to sell is the truth. Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about where is the product currently being sold?
Definitely. So we are primarily sold online through our website, and this year we've really been expanding via an omni-channel approach. So we've really been expanding in addition to our website now on Chewy. Chewy is looking like it's going to be a major growth channel for us. Also Amazon, where we're really able to target in on keywords. And then last but not least, Walmart.com. So that 2022 for Yumwoof is really about our omni-channel e-commerce strategy. But we're also laying the groundwork with some of the new hires and people that we're working with for future retail expansion. So my hope is that we can start expanding into places like Petco, PetSmart, Whole Foods, Sprouts. I think all these places would be great. We would be a great fit for in terms of our mutual customer base that we target and what we offer pet parents.
Got it. And I think that there's something critical you said that we can all learn from, whether and the research team can send out so much other stuff, but we can just go look at your blog. I think that understanding how you're creating a community, because a lot of brands, they do sell, and listen, there's nothing wrong with them, right? They're trying to sell the best product. But when you are creating blogs and newsletters where you're creating a community that feels like whether they buy from you or not, they can leave today a little more educated to help themselves or their family or their pets. I think that is critical. That shows I'm not just trying to sell you something. I'm trying to educate you for the best, to be the best you can. And when you do that, people tend to want to support you more because they know it's coming from a real place. So I love that. And I think all of us here can learn from that. Whether we knew it or not, we can just kind of reinforce something we already knew. So we talked about the competition a lot. Now, who do you think is your main competitor? Because in one sense, you're saying, well, we have our leg up on the fresh food companies because on the fresh other companies because of maybe our technology or whatever. But I mean, there's got to be somebody who's your competitor who's doing it decent at the moment or even great at the moment. Not a problem. The 20 people can live in this world. But who are the competitors right now?
Well, I would say a company that I really look at as sort of a comp is Spot and Tango. Within e-commerce, one, we're always competing for a lot of the same ad space as a lot of the fresh food companies. So that's Farmer's Dog, Ollie, Nom Nom, who just sold to Mars for $1 billion. So there's the fresh food category, but funny enough, what we actually find is that a lot of our customers aren't switching from dry kibble. They're actually switching from fresh food coming to Yumwoof. And I think a lot of that comes down to convenience and price point. Like I said, we're 30% cheaper. A product I didn't mention is called Perfect Dog Food Mix, which I created because I started making fresh food for my dog and I hate chopping carrots. So we wanted to create something that was really for that Costco shopper. We wanted to make something that is 60 to 70% less than Farmer's Dog and Ollie. And all you have to do is buy the meat, mix our mix into it, and then put it in the oven. And you can actually serve it raw too. When you look at a lot of these fresh food companies, the CEO of one of those companies told me, hey, the secret to fresh food is rice and water. Those are their fillers. And so water is kind of a surprising one, but when you really think about it, that's like a very cheap way to add bulk to the food. And, especially when a lot of pet parents look at things on a per pound basis, that's the trick there. So, we have really focused on showing people the benefits of moving to Perfect Kibble through all these things that we were talking about before, but also the convenience. You can take a bag, put your hand in it, grab it, put it in your dog's bowl, and you're done. And you're getting that same fresh food quality, nothing in there that's going to destroy your dog's gut microbiome, none of those preservatives. So it's fresh food, but so much more convenient. I can't even tell you, if you've done the process of opening your fridge and if it's a brand that will remain unnamed, but starts with F and ends with dog, they have packs like this and, you have to cut them and then kind of shake them out. And, feeding your dog should be a good process, both for the dog and the pet parent. So that's something where I really think that we have an advantage. Now, when we start to look away from fresh food and to some of our other competitors, there are some online companies, like I mentioned, Spot and Tango. Sundays is out there. I think they have a great product, but we're so much cheaper than them too. I haven't looked most recently, but last time I had looked, we were maybe 40% less or more. There really isn't anything like Perfect Kibble. I think that where we compete is more like Honest Kitchen. We are launching this year a dehydrated dog food that's also low carb. So when you look at Honest Kitchen, great brand, great products. But there's some things I don't like about their food that much. They have garlic in them, which is poisonous to dogs, and they're very high carb. And we just don't believe in those fillers. We want to make something better. And, so that's what we're going to be launching with in retail versus some other things that we haven't publicly announced.
Well, we've gotten to know you, and you're extremely passionate as well as knowledgeable about it. Who is the rest of the team behind you, working, on the product, on Yumwoof?
Yeah, well, we have, first off, my two co-founders, Yo and Ray. We've been best friends for over 10 years. Ray is a former New York City chef, trained at the French Culinary Institute. And so, and he's also trained in pet food formulation. So, one of the things that we're actually doing right now is we just released full nutritional analyses, down to the amino acid level of all of our food in an effort of extreme transparency.
Excellent. Well, Jaron, I got to tell you, you sat on the hot seat. You gave us all the information. So thank you, first of all, for your passion. Congratulations on your success. You are seeing some great success, and you've given us enough on our own just that we can research from, your blog to everything else. So thank you so much. Congratulations. And I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Daymond.